Since I posted several weeks ago about feeling overwhelmed and working on my self-worth, I am now experiencing depression. Depression is a sneaky feeling that started with me feeling overwhelmed. Then, I didn't sleep properly because my mind raced, leading to decision fatigue. Decision fatigue caused me to make poor choices, such as eating unhealthy food and stopping exercise. Poor physical health led to negative thinking. The negative thoughts I have now are, I can't do this. Look at me in that picture. I look fat. No one is going to buy my book. I give up. I can't do it all. Maybe you have had similar thoughts. As a single mom, single dad, or blended family, life can get so overwhelming we start to believe we can't cope. I have been down this road before. I get it naturally because my mom suffered from bouts of depression and stayed in bed for weeks. I was little and didn't know what was happening. As the oldest, I had to look after my 3 younger siblings and get them and myself to school, not knowing what I was coming home to at the end of the day. Today, I can handle an episode of depression much better because I have an awareness of the signs. I am sharing this with you because poor mental health and well-being are prevalent. According to the CDC, mental illnesses are among the most common health conditions in the United States. More than 1 in 5 U.S. adults live with a mental illness. Over 1 in 5 youth, ages 13 to 18, either currently or at some point during their life, have had a seriously debilitating mental illness. So grab your favorite beverage, find a comfy spot, and let's get into today's topic of mental health and well-being. This is Tips for Parenting Youngsters, where every episode brings you closer to building self-esteem and stronger, more meaningful relationships with your children. Subscribe to Tips for Parenting Youngsters for fresh insights and helpful strategies for positive parenting. Don't miss out on the tools you need to thrive as a parent. New episodes drop every Thursday. Mental health and well-being have become central concerns for parents, particularly as we encounter today's uncertainties and challenges. One advantage you can provide your children is to be aware of the signs and set an example for them so they can learn ways to cope. Good mental health involves coping with everyday stress, having healthy relationships, managing emotions, and facing everyday challenges. People with strong mental health feel more secure in themselves, can communicate their needs, and bounce back from setback. On the other hand, well-being refers to our overall happiness, comfort, and physical and emotional health. A person with good well-being feels safe, loved, and supported. Encouraging well-being means creating an environment where we can be ourselves and make mistakes without fear of judgment. One example for me is taking the rest I need without caring whether I have dusted or vacuumed the house. Well-being is also tied closely to self-esteem, something I am passionate about and write about in my children's books. We all experience times of anxiety, depression, or feelings of overwhelm. The key is to manage these feelings in a healthy way. Here are the signs I saw within myself to know I was going from feeling overwhelmed to depressed. For the past 5 months, I have felt stressed by my many responsibilities. I took on an intense, time-sensitive project, released 2 children's books, had home responsibilities, and so much more. This ongoing stress led to anxiety, sleep problems, and getting teary when I usually wasn't. All I wanted was someone to hug me and tell me everything would be okay. I started to notice my eating and exercise habits changing. Before, I made healthier choices by eating fruits and vegetables. Now, I turned to comfort food and craved cookies, muffins, and grilled cheese sandwiches. I have never been so aware of emotional eating as I was the other day. I had an extremely stressful experience with the bank. The customer service representative didn't understand my side, although I calmly explained the situation. Afterward, while grocery shopping, I bought candy I don't usually buy. While unloading my groceries into my car, I grabbed a bag of one of those candies and immediately ate half the bag. What I noticed was the most immediate wave of calmness that rushed through my body. I don't remember experiencing that feeling before. I liken it to a person who smokes cigarettes and takes that first inhale after lighting up, or a person who enjoys drinking and the wash of relief when the alcohol hits their system. I also started to notice that I was canceling my workout sessions with my trainer. I only walked my dog once per day and not twice. Oh, I had good excuses why. I don't have time. If I don't walk the dog, I will have more time to finish my work. These poor choices caused me to put on a bit of weight, which started a new cycle of thoughts about how fat I was. It also contributed to a lack of sleep. I found myself at 3 a.m. wide awake, thinking about all the things I had to do, which caused fatigue, irritability, and a lack of energy. Now, I was in a downward spiral. We all thrive on routine and structure. Inconsistent schedules or a lack of boundaries makes us feel insecure and anxious. Because I wasn't sleeping through the night, I felt tired during the day, which caused decision fatigue. Some nights, I felt wired and didn't feel like going to bed at my usual time. On other nights, I wanted nothing more than to be in bed by 7 p.m. to escape all I had to do. I was irritable and lacked energy. These unhealthy decisions contributed to endless hours of scrolling through social media, which then caused more stress because I wasn't getting things done that I needed to. I've also learned to become aware of my thoughts during these times. I noticed that as the days went on, they became more negative. These negative thoughts led to a poor me attitude. Why bother? This negative self-talk led me to shower less, dress grubbier, and not care what I look like. These are all typical signs of not being happy and fulfilled. Something else I experienced was my body aching for months. My breathing became more shallow and wheezy. Some days, I couldn't face eating healthy food. The thoughts just turned my stomach. On other days, it was all I craved, a nice juicy apple or vegetables. Once I realized what was happening, I started to turn myself around. Here are 11 ways that I use to improve my mental health and well-being. I turn to my higher power. I am a spiritual person, not a religious person, a spiritual person. I believe there is a power greater than myself that surrounds me with constant and unconditional love. As much as I am not religious, I have read the Bible, and there is one verse that I live by. Be still and know that I am God. What this means to me is we all have the answers within us. When we are quiet, without distractions, we hear our inner voice providing the answers we need. I do this by getting out in nature, taking a 3-minute walk, hugging a tree, or just standing outside taking deep breaths of fresh air. The second thing I do to feel healthier and motivated is change my thinking. I changed my why bother to I am worthy of a happy life. I can do this by taking baby steps. Just in this moment, I will, and you can fill in the blank. Just in this moment, I will eat healthier, take a 5-minute walk, take a 5-minute break without my phone. I talk a lot about positive affirmations. We must constantly and daily feed our minds with all that empowers us. Another thing, I take responsibility for my feelings. I had 3 children, 4, 3, and a newborn by age 25. One day, I was suffering from postpartum and actually begged my husband to stay home from work because I knew I wasn't going to cope. Instead of staying home, he walked out the door. That day was a hard lesson for me. The lesson that I am responsible for helping myself. No one can do the work for us. We must do it ourselves. We can seek guidance from professionals, which I highly recommend and have done for many, many years over my course of living. I have learned to hug myself and care for myself because I know what I need at that time. I haven't always known. I have learned over the years. I also turn myself around by taking baby steps. Over the past several months, some days I've had more energy than others. On higher energy days, I did what I could, being mindful of not overdoing things. On lower energy days, I did what I could by breaking things down to baby steps without beating myself up for not doing more. I kept reminding myself that this too will pass. I have learned to set boundaries because before, I allowed people to walk all over me and treat me with disrespect, further validating my belief in my low self-worth. Now, when someone treats me with disrespect, I calmly and nicely speak up for myself. This leads to another thing I do, better communication. Now, I talk assertively by using I statements. They work wonderfully because I'm not attacking the other person. I state how I feel. For example, I now say, I feel disappointed, or I feel overwhelmed. Another thing I do to turn myself around is focus on my physical activity. I've gotten back to walking regularly and working out. It has changed for the time being. I walk a few more times for a mental break, but shorter durations. It always amazes me how taking a short break clears my mind and boosts my energy. Sometimes I have to work hard to change my thoughts to exercise. I surround myself with people who love and support me just as I am, even if that means I only have myself. Do you ever notice that when you feel down in the dumps, people tend to avoid you? adding to your feelings of depression and loneliness? This is when you discover who your true friends are, because they will accept you exactly as you are and are there to listen. I have 2 such people in my life. I appreciate them every day. Self-care is so important during these times. It is also important to know what you need. I love bubble baths. When I'm having a downtime, I take extra long bubble baths and add Epsom salts. After a shower, I apply a lightly scented lotion. I am okay with scrolling on social media, knowing this isn't my normal behavior. Music can be a powerful healer. I have a playlist of songs that boost me up and empower me. I listen to them whenever I can and dance to the songs. One song on my playlist is Rise Up by Andra Day. When she sings the part of, "I'll do it 1,000 times again for you," I point to myself in the mirror to tell myself, I am here for you. Other songs on my playlist are Unstoppable by Sia, Roar and Firework by Katy Perry, and The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Another thing I do is drink more water. Our bodies need water. By modeling these behaviors and being open with our kids about how we are feeling, we can help them cope. We also need to help our youngsters identify their feelings, called emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the mental health and well-being ability to recognize, understand, and manage one's emotions and empathize with the feelings of others. Developing emotional intelligence gives us the tool to handle social situations and complex emotions in a healthy way. Here are 3 ways to help develop emotional intelligence in our kids. The first step in building emotional intelligence is teaching your children to identify and name their emotions. Instead of simply saying, "I'm mad," guide them to be more specific, like, "I'm frustrated because I didn't understand my homework," or "I feel hurt because I wasn't invited to my friend's birthday party." Identifying their emotions helps them better understand their feelings and why. Let your child know that feeling angry, sad, or overwhelmed is okay. Instead of punishing emotional outbursts, guide them on how to handle their emotions constructively. Offering them tools like journaling, talking it out, or calming down can help children manage their emotional responses. Be the example. When we model calm, thoughtful responses to frustration or anger, our children learn that they too can manage their emotions. Children who see adults handling emotions effectively learn to practice self-control and patience in their own experiences. In conclusion, building good mental health and well-being in ourselves sets an example for our children. It doesn't require grand gestures, but small, consistent efforts. By encouraging open communication, developing emotional intelligence, and modeling healthy behaviors, we lay a strong foundation for our children's mental and emotional well-being. My books, Finding Lily's Inner Magic and Lily's Journey to Forgiveness, offer additional tools for parents. Through relatable stories about handling bullying, feeling hurt and anger, children can see themselves reflected in Lily's journey and learn how to handle their emotional challenges. Both books are available on Amazon, or your local bookstore can order them through Ingram Sparks. Thank you, listeners, for embarking on this journey with me today. Your time and attention are precious, and I am genuinely grateful that you chose to spend them with the Tips for Parenting Youngsters podcast. Your support and engagement mean the world to me. Parenting is full of challenges, but remember, the most profound change starts within us. Be the role model your children look up to. They always watch and learn from us. Visit parentingyoungsters.com for a wealth of free practical resources. The website is designed to support you and your family in your everyday parenting challenges, from tips on self-discipline and positive affirmations to various other valuable topics. Also available at lessonsforlifewithgrandmakate.com are links to purchase my books. Follow along as young Lily, guided by her wise Grandma Kate, discovers her inner magic of self-esteem and confidence through creative activities and heartfelt lessons, empowering her to face life's challenges with courage and joy. There is always time to rewrite your family story. Break free from patterns that no longer serve you and create a home filled with love, understanding, and unwavering support. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. As I conclude this episode, I must state that this podcast is designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. While I bring my experience as a parent and grandparent, it's essential that you know I am not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not a substitute for professional advice from a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Got it? Awesome. Until next time, what is one thing you are grateful for?